triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Battle for freedom. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio. Probably feels like it's a gazillion years since you've seen me. And I'm really excited to hear you, see you, share with you. And if you want to interact, you can go to three places. You can go to facebook.com /Battle for Freedom. You can go to rumble.com /Battle for Freedom. You can even, if you want to, you could even go to YouTube and look for Battle for Freedom on YouTube and basically leave your comments there. Or if you have my cell phone, you can just send me a message directly and I'll try and catch you whatever you have to share or say, and we go from there. Thank you so much. Let me do one thing before we get into this. One of the places I think you'll enjoy.
It's fascinating. Have you seen it? LaserShopLive.com. It's the YouTube channel for Romika laser engraving and custom designs. We're excited to offer you a 24-hour live stream of our laser shop, along with various videos showcasing our laser work and completed projects. Our state-of-the-art equipment and skilled designers create intricate designs on a variety of materials. With our live stream, you can see firsthand how we create our one-of-a-kind products.
I stumbled upon LaserShopLive.com and was blown away by being able to actually watch them work on their projects. Their laser engraving live stream is fascinating to watch, and I lose all track of time.
Whether you're a business owner, creative professional, or just someone who appreciates unique and personalized items, LaserShopLive.com has something for everyone. And with our YouTube channel, LaserShopLive.com, you can watch our live stream and browse our videos anytime, anywhere. So why wait? Check out Laser Shop Live today and see what all the buzz is about. Visit LaserShopLive.com.
Yes, visit LaserShopLive.com right now. Let them know Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. And you can get really cool things like I got my Tumblr for my Battle for Freedom Tumblr from Romika Designs and Laser Shop Live. Go check it out. I highly believe that you'll enjoy it and you'll have a great time in going from there. I see Larry over there in the Rumbleverse. Thank you so much for joining and being part of the program. Again, I know it probably feels like it's been forever. I had this huge project where I got through. Today, I try and finish phase 1 of this project. We start phase 2 of the project immediately after, and then phase 3 is, going live. So that's the reason why you guys, whether it's family, we had a lot of birthdays too, and so I miss you guys. It's great to spend this time and having this conversation with you. And honestly, to tell you the truth, this, you never know with what I'm going to be talking about today. There'll be some people who do not like or do not want to watch the program anymore. Viewership will go down a whole lot because of what I'll be talking about and what I'll be covering. And this is fighting the Jezebel spirit. TradCon artists, not TradCon wife, but TradCon artists. A shout out to John Klatz. Good to see you over there in the Rumbleverse as well. But as we sit here and we look at this, because one of the things that, as we sit here and we understand that the family is under attack. The family is under attack. It's not just by the government. It's not by liberal progressivism. The family is under attack. It's been under attack since the garden. Since the garden, when Satan decided to come into the garden and basically tell Eve, you have it all and you can have more. And everything has gone downhill since then. Period. And it's the discussions that we don't want to have in church. It's the discussions that we don't want to have in America. It's discussions that we don't want to have in the world because of the fact that people are enjoying power. People feel like gods, and they don't want to give up that power. They don't want to give up that money. They don't want to give up that power. They don't want to give up that persuasion because it feels good to have more money, right? It feels good to have some semblance of power. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at this, again, fighting in my graphic you have on the Scrabble words of the word fraud, because the Jezebel spirit is the completely different opposite side of, it's a complete opposite. It is the what's the word for it? It's the exact opposite of a Proverbs 31 woman kind of response here. And so you have either or, but you can't have both. And the decision is, what is the response on what's going on here? And again, I know a lot of people are going to be sensitive. I know a lot of people are going to be triggered. I know a lot of people are going to be angered from what I have to say. But what I'm saying is going to be coming right from the Bible. And I pray that you will be able to handle that. Let's actually look at this and let's see what the Bible has to say. This is a verse that a lot of people don't like to hear, but this is Proverbs 21:9. It is better to live on the corner of a roof than to share the house with a nagging wife. So it's ixnay on the agging nay. It's more than one. You have to understand. We're going to watch a few videos today. And in the videos, I just want us to basically pay attention to the content and what's being stated in there. Because again, before Satan, here's a question for us to consider. Before Satan approached Eve to tell her to eat the forbidden fruit, at any point in time, was Eve ever telling Adam, I think we should have that tree? And Satan only came up and convinced her she should take from the tree that was forbidden. Because it seemed like it was either one conversation, or this may not have even been the only conversation going on, but either way, after her conversation with Satan, she was all in. So you have to wonder, was she primed for this? Or was there conversation? Was there discontentment in the garden with free food? No other men, there are no other women competing for your husband. You've got a free zoo, a free petting zoo, and the best weather possible because you don't have to wear clothes. You don't need a heavy blanket. You don't need any of that. You don't need suntan lotion. You don't need anything. It's the perfect environment that was created by God, and it still wasn't enough. Again, I know a lot of people understand this. These messages, this stuff that's going to be shared is going to be very offensive to those who are in Churchianity. Because, and you have to ask yourself, where is it? Do I have this here? Is it number 2? Yeah. As you get angry and as you get offended by just that scripture passage that was just shared, okay? You have to ask yourself, is your response, is this a Churchianic response or is this a Messianic response? Is it a Churchianic response or is it a Messianic response? And when I ask that question, is it a Churchianic response? Because the Churchianic response is basically the churches are governed and run by women. Oh yeah, you have pastors that are going on, but when you're in an environment where women outnumber the men 3-1, generally speaking, the women are running the program. There's all these complaints. You sit here marveled at how is it that you can have so many Christian women who are just yelling out their hatred for the patriarch, and they want the matriarch to run. They want the what is it? Hillary Clinton. The women run the world. Beyonce song. Women run. Whoever it is who sings it, we run the world. You see it from the movie Pitch Perfect. Who runs the world? We run the world. Women run the world. That's the language, and it's true. And what people don't want to sit here and understand is, like, if the matriarchy is running the show and the ship's going down, who do you blame? Who do you blame? I mean, everyone's to blame in the situation, but you remember they say the captain goes down with the ship. They basically say when the economy's bad, it's that current president's fault. So when society's falling apart and the women are in charge, and to continue to blame the men, hello? When the churches fall apart and it's not being run by the men, but men yielding themselves to the women, giving up their authority, Hello? When everything runs off track and everything's completely out of whack, hey, shout out to Lep over there in in Facebook. He has a very interesting topic this Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rumble. 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rumble, and it's very interesting because where is this? Oh my goodness. I saw this earlier and we were having conversations, and he something poll. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Of all the times that I actually have this, okay, yeah, I'm going to bring this up for you. I apologize because this is important, because I really want you to hear this, because of the fact that this is a very interesting topic he has for this Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is basically, here you go. I apologize. I had to scroll down through this. Really? That's weird. I just saw this earlier. Oh, okay. You know what? He is a very interesting one. I'll basically get you the message here in a second here, because of the fact that is straight. Yeah. Here it is. Yep. I'll find it. I'll find it in a bit. I apologize. I had it on my screen for a few minutes ago, and it just completely disappeared. Yes, there he goes. Earth's magnetic pole reversal. Glad he can leave the comment inside of Facebook. My brain will be connecting in a minute. I'm preparing for the shell shock of everything going on here. But thank you. This 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Sunday on Rumble. Look for Ain't You a Peach and catch this. Very, very interesting. Actually, this is very interesting discussion in light of all the weather anomalies and everything else going on, is being controlled by people who we can't talk about, or will be branded conspiracy theorists. So let's get back to this whole idea of fighting the Jezebel spirit. So as we get to this idea of fighting the Jezebel spirit, people don't want to listen. People don't want to learn. People just think that, hey, my rule, my way goes, and I don't care what anyone has to say. So I saw this first video. This one was really interesting. The matriarchy is dying in China. And this was a very interesting one that I had found in light of let's just watch this video and you'll kind of understand. I want to say thank you to this guy too. His I got to give you a link to his site, but on YouTube he has some very, very interesting interviews as we talk about a lot of the different things going on in the world. And I want to bring up his video because this right here is crazy.
Are they sure they're not in the U.S.?
But the way it's framed is a classic example of toxic positivity rhetoric, one that exposes the distorted gender perceptions shaped by the CCP state system. While official media promotes gender equality on the surface, it simultaneously allows various independent social media platforms.
Oh, that's what it is, because it started way too soon. Let's go here.
That will essentially state the following. As a man who is in the midst of divorce, you will no longer be forced to give up half of your belongings, net worth, etc. That's right, folks. If your wifey wants to leave you because she's no longer happy, right? She has outgrown the relationship.
Right.
She can also outgrow your assets. That's how that's going to work from here on out.
Right.
Now, I'm a believer that, you know, if a man is trifling as hell, if he's abusive, if he's laying up with any old body, that you deserve to have a little something with you. But it turns out that a majority of divorces that take place within the Western world are not founded on any of those things. And around 70% of these divorces are initiated by the wife. So Imagine where divorce rates would go if all of a sudden there was no financial benefit of leaving that man.
So you get that? You get that the whole idea that if there's no benefit that a woman can divorce her husband, she can't take anything with her except whatever she has, would she leave? Because even in the United States, 70 to 80% of the divorces are initiated by women. So 7 to 8 out of 10 divorces around the world globally are initiated by the wives. There's this, I've outgrown this relationship. I'm no longer content. I'm no longer happy. I'm dissatisfied because there's something more out there that I want that I can't have at home. So basically they turn around and they leave. Well, in China, it was happening way too much. And then women were completely wrecking men. And then the Chinese government decided to switch something around that should be happening globally. And it's a common sense thing. It's a common sense thing. The women have been taking advantage of the system for far too long. And now you have people who are waking up and saying, no, we're putting an end to this. And there's a great shift happening right now.
And that goes for y'all too, ladies. If you've got the bag, you keep the bag. Simple.
Now, I already know some of you guys are thinking, this is a law that we need here in the United States. Here's what's crazy. There are reports that China's definitely at a place where their divorce rates are over 50%. Not only that, there are certain places that have a higher divorce rate than that. 72+% in some areas. We're going to check out just a few comments, then I want to move on to that second video I want to show you guys. This person here says, this should be a global rule. Another person here added, pack up, boys. We're moving to China. What do you think? Are you inspired to move to China? All right, so this video is insane. So the title of this video from China Observer reads, China has the highest number of single women. Again, highest number of single women. The rest of the title reads, and divorce rates, toxic advice destroys Chinese women. Let's check out this video. By the way, you're going to see this guy talking in Chinese, but the person, when they cut his voice out, is going to be translating what he's actually saying. Let's go.
China has the highest number of single women in the world. It also has one of the highest divorce rates globally. In most cases, divorces are initiated by women. Nowhere else do women look down on men as much as in China. Nowhere else do women demand such high bride prices. Nowhere else do so many women abandon their husbands and children. Nowhere else do so many divorced women seek welfare partners. And most of them don't succeed. What's the reason behind this, friends? There's only one reason. Chinese women have been consuming too much toxic positivity advice. They've been told that men should earn money while women should focus on looking beautiful. That men struggle to find wives, but women never have trouble finding husbands. This so-called wisdom has left women dazed, confused and disoriented. Completely lost and disoriented. This elderly man's remarks may be extreme, but real-life cases do support some of his views.
Pay attention to this next story. This next story is crazy.
In January 2025, an online court trial video sparked widespread controversy across the Chinese internet.
As a father, you've never called your child, never cared about her life, never taken responsibility for their education. You haven't even made a single phone call in a year. You've deprived my child of a father's love. You've taken no responsibility for this family, not even a cent as a father. You've never cared about your child's life or education.
Now, see, what's crazy about this is you hear this story where this woman is completely lambasting the father, saying he is a no good, deadbeat father, basically shares, and this happened earlier this year. This was in January of this year that this woman lambasts this man and paints this horrible picture of him. He's a deadbeat, and this is the sad part about it is because often people only hear one side. They make their decision without all the facts. And that's how society has been running for far too long, that we never hear all the facts. We just get emotional people who hear one side, they don't want to hear the other side, and then they automatically, we look for the people who will basically support our position. And that's the worst. That's the worst thing we could ever do, is only look for people who support our position. We also need constructive criticism to point out when we're in error so that we can make the right modifications to do what is correct.
In the 7.5-minute courtroom video, nearly 7 minutes were filled with the plaintiff, Yan Dongping, voicing her accusations. To any observer, she appeared to be a deeply wounded wife, an abandoned mother, while her husband was seemingly an irresponsible man.
Yes, the appearance is that she's this abandoned woman who needs help, and her husband is this dirtbag. Appearances, not facts. Appearances.
But a single statement from her husband, Sheng Zhubao, shattered the entire performance. I was working in Beijing. I gave you all my money without keeping a single cent for myself.
Did you hear that? He was working in Beijing. He gave his wife all the money. He was working himself to death to provide for his family. He didn't keep any money for himself, but she's painting it out that you don't do anything. You're not even trying to help us out. You don't even want to communicate. I'm like, I'm working where the money is and sending the money back home and probably living out on the streets.
Finally, the judge delivered the verdict. The couple's joint property, a car, is awarded to the plaintiff, Yan Dongping. At that moment, before the camera was turned off, Yan Dongping turned her head and smiled. A smile filled with an indescribable sense of sweetness and triumph. To many viewers, it felt as if she was looking at someone she truly loved. This scene deeply wounded her weary and honest husband, who quietly wiped away the tears at the corner of his eyes. This scene didn't just wound her husband, it struck a nerve with every viewer watching. And so, what people jokingly called the first world-famous painting of 2025, Yan Dongping's smile, was born, ultimately making her the target of online outrage.
Wow.
As the controversy grew, the truth began to surface. When the couple first went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to finalize their divorce, they were required to undergo a 1-month cooling-off period. A policy introduced under China's 2021 marriage law intended to promote marital stability.
Right.
But in Miss Yan's case, that month became the perfect opportunity for her to execute a carefully planned strategy. Under the pretense of achieving financial independence through an online store, she escalated her demands, stripping the father of visitation rights and even insisting that their daughter change her surname, severing all ties between them. People quickly exposed the so-called financial independence as nothing more than a sham. Miss Yan.
So do you get that? So not only did she take everything, she smiles at her lover who's at the place because she knew that she raked him over the coals. She goes big. They made a meme. They made an instant meme over her face about the trickery of what she has done. Then she minimizes, she reduces all this visitation time with his own child that he's been faithfully paying for down to nothing. And then worse, to add salt on the wound, turn around and have the child remove his name. So the child doesn't even share the same name of the father that's providing for them. That's the Jezebel spirit that basically says, I'm going to take you for everything you have because having money, having power, having fame matters more to me than anything else. Above me being a wife to you and a mother to your children and letting you be a father to your children, I am going to ruin you. I'm going to ruin you. And whew, that's a Jezebel spirit. I mean, there's more to this. But most of the women, they are too busy. They're too busy being. They're too busy getting their comeuppance, and sadly, other people are losing their lives as a result of this. Comment from G-Hubs over there in Rumbleverse. He says, former NBA player Dwight Howard got married 6 months ago, and she's already divorcing him, but she's asking for half of his assets. You got married 6 months ago, and again, a lot of people don't like the idea of a prenup. We're going to be talking about that soon. They don't like the idea of a prenup. And it's very sad because of the fact that, you know what? He's an NBA player, so he's making millions. And so she stands a chance, if there wasn't a prenup, that they could turn around and she could take half, if not more. And if he had any children with her, that's even going to be worse. Or better yet, if she ends up pregnant, ends up pregnant, having kids, he better definitely get a paternity test to make sure that he truly is the father. Just straight crazy. It's just straight crazy. Let's look at this. There's another one here. Well, you know what? A couple of things with this. Where is this? What's this next? That's 2. Let's go to 3. Oh my goodness! I just I've got to like pray and keep my I got to keep my stuff down, my energy down. We did this one. Let's go to here. See, because a lot of this stuff happens where people put themselves in this position where they're asking for this money because they got a taste of the world. They got a taste of the world, and they in the end of the day, they turned around and they decided that they wanted to have more. Not realizing that they continue, as long as they continue to leave the confines of their house. So that woman who ruined her husband, kept his child from him, changed the child's name. If she gets out into the world and everything goes bad, because actually further in that video, there's another woman who does the same thing. Yeah, you know what? Let me do that. Let me go back to that video, because there's a scene where this one woman, she turns around and she goes out of her way to ruin the man, and basically, yeah, let's see if I can find this one here, because this one's straight crazy. Yeah, okay, here you go. Yeah, because this is the point where there are even women who are being told by women influencers, guess what? Divorce your husband, because there are these millionaire CEOs, billionaires in China looking for divorced women. They're looking for divorced women. So let's continue on this, because this right here,
single CEO has
crazy.
shown up.
Some once stable families have also been torn apart by these unrealistic fantasies of happiness. Miss Hu Pei is a typical case. Her husband earned 10,000 yuan a month, enough for a comfortable life, but she became consumed by online toxic positivity narratives.
Oh, shoot.
Women should be princesses, deserve the best cosmetics and designer bags, and must have a handsome, wealthy CEO picking them up in a luxury car every day. She began to resent her current lifestyle.
I don't want to live in that rundown house anymore. I want to be like my friends, living.
She says, I don't want to live in that rundown house anymore. I want to live like my friends, living in a nice apartment. This is literally, if there was a chance to hear what Eve was saying before she ate the fruit, I'm sure she was probably saying, I don't want to live in this pathetic, simple garden. I want to live better. Like the other people speaking to me that you have no idea of. Let's go to a break.
Psalm 1, verse 1. How blessed are those who reject the advice of the wicked, don't stand on the way of sinners, or sit where the scoffers sit. I love this because it's basically saying that the person does not want to associate with wickedness in any way, from hearing, standing near, associating, nor being comfortable enough to rest in his presence. Verse 2 says, their delight is in Adonai's Torah. On his Torah they meditate day and night. In other words, they love the teachings of God, and this is what they think about day and night. They are like trees planted by the streams. They bear their fruit in season. Their leaves never wither. Everything they do succeeds. Verse 3 is basically hinting that there's life in them, and it's not murky, stagnant water that passes by them or fills them. It's flowing, life-giving, clean water. But verse 4 says, not so the wicked who are like chaff driven by the wind. Chaff, it's a substitute, or it looks like, or an imitation of wheat that has no substance and has no value, and it's easily manipulated. For this reason, the wicked won't stand up to the judgment, nor will sinners at the gathering of the righteous. In other words, there is no hope for those who reject the teachings of Adonai, who reject his Torah. They will not be able to stand, even though they think that they're gods. The Lord of creation will humble them. Verse 6, for Adonai watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked is doomed. In other words, if our goal is to reject Adonai, his teachings, his Torah, his rule, his order, that means that we will suffer the consequences of living in no order and complete chaos, facing his wrath for eternity. Why? Because we rejected his truth. Triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Battle for freedom.
Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prene from Battle for Freedom on Mojo Fiber Radio. Thank you for joining and being part of this program today as we talk about fighting the Jezebel spirit, trad con artists. I say trad con artists because we normally hear the term trad con wife, but it's not the same. And this one woman where she sat there, she wanted to be in the last one, who pay, or she wanted to basically be like her friends. She wanted to have what they had. Too busy spending. She spent too much time away from home looking at what everybody else had that she had to come home and complain and not appreciate what she did have. And this is a common theme because this is what Eve. I don't know where Eve went to leave the garden to find something better than what she had. No woman going after her man. She didn't have to worry about any work drama or anything like that about people at work trying to go after her husband. She was there with him. And if she was there with him, enjoying the splendor of the garden, the animals, the food, all you can eat food and everything like that, there was no reason for her to be discontent. But she found a reason to be discontent. Someone was speaking, a snake was speaking in her ear, and it wasn't Narnia. It wasn't Narnia. But she's sitting there talking to a snake who convinced her, you know what? You need more. You deserve more. Satan has not changed the game, folks. It's the same. And this is the reason why people don't want to read the Bible. This is the reason why you have in Churchianity that they talk about the difference between the old covenant and the new covenant. Because if I have to go back to the old covenant, if I have to quote unquote old covenant, if I have to go back to Torah, if I have to go back to Genesis, if I have to go back to the beginning where it all went wrong, that means that I have to do the same thing in my life, and I'm not prepared to do so. Now, her being a hupepe, being out on the streets, wanting to get what everybody else has, and she's being discontent, that means that anything that happens to hupepe, because of the fact that she left the confines and protections of her husband, is on her. Reminds me of a biblical passage. Let's see. We're going to go here. And yeah, you remember this? Genesis 34, 1-4. One time, Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Yaakov, went out to visit the local girls. And Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivi, the local ruler, saw her, grabbed her, and basically sexually assaulted her and humiliated her. But actually, he was strongly attracted to Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov. He fell in love with the girl and tried to win her affection. Shechem spoke to his father, Hamor, and said, "Get this girl for me. I want her to be my wife." She put herself in a position where she was visiting the local girls out on the streets. She literally went into an environment where stuff like this happens. Where you're in a position that you've made yourself available for any man to come up to you, to approach you, and it could be from talking and flirting to full-on sexual assault. But we put ourselves in this position and then are surprised when something like this happens. Hey, here's another example for you. See if you remember this. Hey, you remember this story? Christine Blasey Ford and Brett Kavanaugh? You remember the hashtag Me Too movement? hashtag Me Too, where Chrissy Blasey Ford went to an drug, alcohol, and sex-infused party expecting just to have a simple time. Slip a couple of margaritas, and everything would go to Margaritaville and everything's gonna be perfectly fine. She literally went into an environment where there was drugs, alcohol, and sex, and didn't expect to have anything go wrong. She put herself in a position, and then 30, 40 years later, if he did this that was wrong, yes, he was wrong in what he did. I'm not in any way excusing what he did. But here's the thing about it. Let's check this out. Going into a drug and alcohol infused situation where people are looking for drugs, alcohol, and sex, expecting not to be a victim, is like going to a supermarket and getting offended that it actually had food. Okay? It's like saying, "Oh, well, I went to the supermarket and and they actually had food on the shelves." And you're bothered by this for what reason? I mean, isn't that what you're supposed to find in the supermarkets? And all of a sudden, when you have this hashtag Me Too, matriarchy, power to the people, women, we run the world, and things go wrong, you find yourselves in affairs. You find yourselves you find yourselves with the wrong people giving attention to you. Kind of like Dinah, she left the confines and the protections of her home, and then all of a sudden, when she gets sexually assaulted, and the family's bothered, the family's angered, but she left the confines and protections of her home, and all of a sudden, it's like, well, I'm getting this weird attention. Well, what do you expect? How do we expect anything different when we're not doing things God's way? It's the idea of, again, I go back to Eve being in the garden, having everything she needs, but she wanted more. She wanted more. And it hurts us when we have this design where we basically look at the blessings that God's given us and we say, "Lord, it's not enough. I want more." I don't care who you are, male, female, black or white, y'all all messed up in his sight. all of us are messed up in his sight. But yeah, I just thought, hashtag Me Too, right? Hashtag Me Too. Let's get into another video here. Because this is the one that really got me roiled. My family so excited at me last week. Like, okay, Dad, chill out. Chillax, Daddy. Chillax, Daddy. But check this one out here.
I've been dating my boyfriend for about a year now, and we're starting to talk about marriage. He's Australian, and basically we were talking about finances, and he would want to keep them like completely separate. He earns like a little over double what I earn. He just bought his first house as well. And it concerns me. He also mentioned maybe wanting me to sign a prenup. And I just feel not secure maybe marrying and having kids with somebody who feels, finances should be 100% separate. So we were talking about it last night, actually, and he was saying, well, I don't believe that it would be our money, if we were married. What I earn is like my money.
So it would be.
So basically, this woman calls into Dave Ramsey's program where his daughter Rachel Cruz and another individual are listening to this woman call into a program because of the fact that she's troubled that her fiance and her are having a conversation, and there's the discussion of a prenup. And with this prenup, she's basically saying it's kind of messed up because of the fact that, hey, I don't think it's cool that he wants to keep things separate. And you sit here and we watch how, for any of us to deny how screwed up the system is right now, and it is anti-man, and you literally want to put a man at the mercies of skewed and a horrific judicial system that says more about you than it says about the messed up system, because you know it's screwed up and you're willing to gamble with a man's sanity and a man's life because of the fact that you are so stuck on getting your own way. Sorry, I don't think I gotta get back to this.
His house, his money, and you just get the privilege of living there at a discounted rate. Is that what?
His house, his money, you get a chance to live there at a discounted rate. So if that rate is free, what's the problem? If the rate is free, that you get to live in the home of your husband and you don't have to pay anything. I mean, if anything, if there is any payment, that payment then becomes, let's say, what? Just the things that need to be done at home. It's not a job. It's just, hey, that I appreciate that you're shielding a responsibility that I don't have to endure. You're keeping me from a crazy world that, given the chance, they do anything and everything they could to me if I was left exposed to the world. So thank you for taking that burden away from me. But this I'm going to use a word here. I'm going to use a word here because his response is the Churchianic response, but it's the response of a C-U-C-K. It's the idea and the imagery that there are men in this world who would be happy to sit in a room and watch another man violate their wives. That's what we get from Churchianity. Men who will sit in a room and be content, actually not even just content, aroused by another man taking advantage of their wives. That's what we get from Churchianity. That's what we get when Torah and the boundaries of Torah is not established in the church. That is the reason why divorce rates are so high in the church. That is the reason why men are some men, they're just perverts and they turn to porn for whatever reason. But when we put ourselves in a position where we're letting the women run the houses, running the churches, running the businesses, running everything, and not stepping up to the plate, be not surprised at the results of what's taking place.
This future looks like?
Basically, I don't think he sees it that way, but
you guys are about to share a bed. You're going to have kids and share genetics that are running around in front of you. Like, you're sharing every other part of your life.
And yet you have to Venmo him for Outback Steakhouse?
It's a business relationship, not a romantic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a partnership.
And it causes financial infidelity down the line because you have no say or transparency into what he's doing with money.
Mm-hmm.
He could have a spending addiction that you're totally unaware of because you don't see the account. You don't have access to the account.
Is he bringing in a lot of money? Does he have like millions of dollars in an account that he's bringing in?
No, he's making about 85. He works.
Okay, all right. Hold on. Can we?
I thought this guy was like a multimillionaire.
I know.
Shelby, I thought he was making like I thought he was a surgeon. I thought he was making $500,000 to $600,000, and you're like, I'm making $150,000.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's making $85,000. I'm sorry. Get off your high horse.
Yep.
So this is the part where I took issue with what Rachel Cruz said. He's only making $85,000 a year. And she's offended that he wants a prenup. This woman who's called into the store, to the line, makes less than half of what he's making, but she's offended that he wants to protect what he has. Because who loses more? The men. You saw earlier the comment, Dwight Howard, 6 months later, his wife wants to divorce him and take half of what he has. They know that the system works in their favor. But this is what I take issue with Rachel Cruz, because shame on you, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you, because of the fact that this man, you don't even know what the $85,000 is 60% higher than the national average for a salary. It is 60% higher than the national average, okay? Second of all, this man may have prayed for this job and the Lord provided for him a salary of $85,000. and you're poo-pooing on his 85K, which could have been a blessing from the Lord. Another thing you don't know about this woman calling in, has she been in another relationship where she has a pattern, a black widow pattern of taking advantage of men and then moving on to the next guy and having a whole lot more? But see, when you only hear one side of the story and you make your judgment, Rachel Cruz has a Jezebel spirit. She has a Jezebel spirit. She's a spoiled brat, paid off by her dad, probably making a ridiculous amount of money, and she puts herself in a position where she could turn around and humiliate a man for only trying to protect himself in a society that basically is against men. Honorable men trying to do what's right. She knows nothing about the character of this guy, but 85K to a woman who's probably making six figures. Yeah. This is what happens when you get money, you get power. You look at someone who doesn't make what you deem as a high level target. You're not a high level man or high level successful man. Oh yeah, it's easy to make fun of you. You only make 85K. Get off of your high horse. Huh. This is where the judge not lest he be judged should come in, because she's sitting there riding a high horse right into hell. And if she does not come back and Dave, here's your chance. Call your daughter out. Use Torah. Set up boundaries. Her husband, call her out. Set her up. Put boundaries on her so she can humble herself and ask for forgiveness. But this is a Jezebel spirit. Because get this, there's more to this. This is the crazy part about it. Because here's part two. Oh, sorry.
Between 10 and 12, is that what you said?
Little ego is so inflated at 85. Like 85.
I don't want that.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
So I recently got engaged. My fiance and I are both 36 years old. We're looking to start a Brady Bunch. We've got 5 kids between 10 and 12 between us.
Oh, wow. Between 10 and 12, is that what you said?
Yeah, I have twin sons who are 11, and she has a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and 12-year-old.
Oh, my gosh. That's going to be a house full. That's fun. So great.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Yep. So the reason I'm calling is because we have a pretty large difference in assets. And I think based on your advice, the advice would be that we should get a prenup. So I have roughly $12 million, and she has roughly $50,000. And so we started the process of looking into a prenup, and it's been an emotional one. And I totally understand why. And I think especially, like, we went through a questionnaire talking together about it. But then when we got the first draft back from my lawyer, that's when she's really not been feeling good about it. And I understand the concern. So, I mean, she feels like I wouldn't be fully entering the marriage in the same way that she is, because it feels like I'm holding assets like separately off to the side. And I'm sensitive to that.
So here's a scenario. The guy has $12 million. She only has 50. He wants a prenup. She's feeling bad because of the fact that they have a whole bunch of kids. She has a whole bunch of kids. He has a whole bunch of kids. And he has $12 million. She has $50 million. And she's offended that he wants to have a prenup.
Especially in some of the context of her former relationship. And so I'm just looking for maybe more clarity and like what you guys would recommend.
Oh man, this is a hard one. Because I think it is a wise decision to do one. And I say that even more. I have a friend who's going through not a great situation, and she came in with a lot more. And now he's just, it's just messy. It's messy. And there's a level, again, you're hoping and praying, obviously, that this is the one and that it's going to last a lifetime. Mm-hmm. But as you guys have experienced, there is a reality to all of this. And whenever any of us get married, right, I think there is like this, like, okay, I'm choosing you for a reason and for a lifetime. But we also don't live under a rock and know that things change in life and situations come up, and unfortunately some really hard things happen and causes marriages to break up, right?
So $85,000, you're on a high horse wanting to have a prenuptial agreement. $12 million? Yeah, you need to protect yourself. See, here's the thing about the truth. The truth applies regardless of the situation. Truth always exists regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the people present, regardless of anything. Truth still stands. Gravity still works. Gravity still works whether you're in the North Pole, South Pole, at the equator. Gravity still works. So to sit there and all of a sudden you start changing because dollar figures, because ching ching ching, ching ching, the cash register rolling and you seeing the dollars, you replace all your S's in your language with dollar signs. That right there goes to show you Jezebel's spirit. When you, because here's my thing, it's like, yeah, you protect yourself because we can hook up later and I can help you enjoy that $12 million. When you change your truth, when you change your standards because of dollar signs, yeah, you have no truth, you have no standards. Oh my goodness. This is the last one. It's with Pearl. She this last one is with Pearl. She turns around and check this out.
Another point to make is Candace Owens' husband is worth $150 million. So there's no reason for her to be out here and putting her kids' safety at risk. There's no reason for her not to be home with her kids. And what I'm saying is, I'm not saying she shouldn't do what she does. She seems to really love it. But all I'm saying is she is not doing what she is selling. And so I saw a tweet. I'm actually going to pull it up on my phone. It says, trad wife influencers are business women selling a lifestyle, families, and marriage they don't possess. And that's how I would describe it.
Do you get that? Hold on a second here. Do you get that? She's saying TradCon women are selling a life they don't support. TradCon, because traditional conservative women are seen as women who stay at home, they take care of their family, and they basically say, yes, this is perfect. We have this ideal situation. We've learned to live within our means. I love this role of being a mother and raising the children and all these other different things. But Candace Owens, because she's making ridiculous money, but she turns around, and I'm this TradCon who became a Roman Catholic last year. Well, she's still out. She's now more on the scene than she was before she got married. She's more out there now. She's doing more and more out there now, and she's interviewing this man. And she's basically telling him how he should live according to her traditional conservative ways. And this is what's sad about this.
So this is where she starts nagging him and then gets triggered.
To me at all, it's almost as if we're not related. It's almost as if I never existed. And there's something very disturbing to me about that. And I can understand why people are okay with that. Because people have various feelings about race. They say, I don't care about my race.
Hold on, I'm skipping that.
Well, you're allowed to be you and I'm allowed to be me.
Mm-hmm.
A question that I would ask you then is, what is your dating life?
I don't have a dating life.
So you don't date?
No.
Do you have a perspective about who you want to marry? Do you intend to get married?
I do. I do intend to get married and have kids.
So where are you at on that?
I'm trying to get prepared for that mentally.
What does that mean? You're 26 years old.
I like my life. I like being single. I like being a guy. I like what I like. I like reading books. I like doing my show. I'm a pretty antisocial person. And it's a big adjustment for a man to go from having a life where you can do whatever you want, go wherever you want, unaccountable, everything like that, to then you have to be roommates with women and children. It's a totally different lifestyle. And for someone like myself, I'm a pretty eccentric and kind of out there person. I don't have a regular sleep schedule. I'm awake all night. I'm asleep all day. And my sleep schedule's moving around all the time. I like to go out on drives all the time. The idea of my wife sending me out the door, okay, be home by 10, call me and tell me where you're going. Or, I go on a trip. I got to get the car seats and buy all the plane tickets and stuff like that. It's kind of cramping my style.
So, and her response to this is she takes issue with him. Take care, Lisa. She takes issue with him because of the fact that he wants to enjoy being single. See, Candace Owens she lived the life. She lived out on the streets and doing all the stuff and having all the fun and everything like that, right? Now she's settling down and she's with her husband and she has her kids and everything like that. And she's now looking at this guy who's basically doing what she was having fun doing and telling him, you have no right to do that. It's time for you to mature and grow up. She judged him. She condescended. She was like, do you go to church? Do you go to mass? Because I go to mass now. She gets a little Christianity, she gets a little Churchianity in her, a little Roman Catholicism in her, and she takes the high road to look down at the other individual who's basically had threats against his life, and so much so because of the fact that he speaks out on certain issues that's not popular. But now she's telling him, you know what, you need to slow down. You want to know why she wants him to slow down? Because he's competition to her success. She wants him to slow down, get married, have kids, and go off the scene and basically take the role of a wife. So she, as a role of a wife, can come out as a role as her husband and do what she wants. And she can because his success is taking business away from her. Tradcon artists will do everything that they can to remove the competition. Remember, women will keep women single. Chinese influencers, women, be divorced, leave your husbands, because guess what? There are billionaires and millionaires out there looking for women like you. They don't tell you. You have a kid, they have no desire to look at you. You have a son, especially in China, and you're divorced, they won't even consider you because of the fact that they're like, I'm not raising another man's child. And you're in the position that you have another man's child and you're divorced, guess what? You can do the same exact thing to me. You're going to do the same exact thing to me. See, here's the thing about it that you have to understand when it comes to basically this tradcon situation here. Because there's a decision that has to be made. All of us have a decision that need to be made. But when the decisions that have to be made, all of a sudden now become an ultimatum, where there has to be a decision of either or let me help you understand something here. I want you to see this. This is a fact that I want to share with you. Ultimatums are an illusion because the decision has already been made. Ultimatums are an illusion because the decision has already been made. We never should need the point by which we get to the fact that an ultimatum has to be made, where people will listen and people will basically say, you know what? I'm there. I understand what you're saying. I got you. This is what I want. This is what I want for my life. And these are the things that I want. So the obvious situation is, if I need to remove the things that hinder me from getting what I want. Now, if it is the career, if it is the success and all that other things, what are most women in America doing? They're either using abortion as birth control because I don't want a child to get in the way and sacrifice my career. Or they turn around and they basically say, you know what? I don't need this man holding me back. I don't need these kids holding me back. I don't need any of this stuff holding me back because this is what I want. And this is how far I will go. I will murder the child in my womb. I will kill the spirit and character of the man or the children that I have to pursue and have what I want. Or I make the decision to understand if I want the marriage, if I want the children, if I want the home, I will remove anything that gets in the way of giving me that. But we can't have both, because the The moment that there's that idea of an ultimatum is presented, the decision has already been made.